Ashely Sellers, speech language pathologist and owner and operator of Speech, Language, and Beyond. Well, I'm coming to you today to do a video on some tips on how to use a pocket chart in therapy. Now, I was lucky enough to have a pocket chart that can kind of stand up on the table, but you can also do these as a way of, if you have a pocket chart that goes on your wall, it's also just as effective. The reason why that I decided to do this video is because sometimes in therapy it can just get really boring when you do therapy and you're just using the cards and there's nothing else to add some form of excitement or movement in it for the child. So these are things you're probably already doing, but I just wanted to introduce it because I just discovered that I had it, forgot that I had it, and I've just started back using it in therapy again. So here's tip number one. So let's say you're working on some articulation therapy, and for this particular cards that I have, we're working on B's, P's, M's, and N's at the end of the word. So you can use each individual slot to put in the cards that you want to work with, and then before you start the therapy, for example, you can, before you insert the cards that go with each one, you can review the sound by having the child point B, 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 and make the sound. Or if you're using that sound in a syllable, B, A, B, E, B, I, B, O, B, ooh, as a way of doing that, just for an example. And then you'll already have the cards. Either you will have them in front of the child where you have them name the picture and then decide where the card goes, or you can control the card. For example, let's say if we were going to work on the N and I was controlling it and had this in front of them, then I would say balloon, balloon, and have them say the word stressing the N sound, and when they're done, they can place it in the slot next to the N. Okay, or if they are manipulating the card and you know what words they have and you say, well, let's you choose a picture. Let's say they choose arm. You have them say the picture arm, arm, and feel the sound and decide which place are we going to put arm, which ending sound does it have, and then they can put it in here. All right, so that's one quick idea. So let's take these out. So you can use it, for example, with articulation therapy. Okay? Another way that I think is really neat, on this particular pocket chart, it has a bigger side here. So I'm like, okay, well, what if I was using some type of guessing game? So this would actually be the side that would face the child, and the cards that we have here are the ones that are in front of them that they're going to use to guess by. So I already have my clues that I want to use, and what we're doing is having them guess the picture that I'm talking about. So for example, they have fire, peanut butter, scissors, knife, fire, and glue. So remember, this particular side is facing the child. These pictures are also in front of them. I'm providing them with a clue, and I want to see if they can find the correct picture. So in this instance, we're working on adjectives. So I might say, I want you to find two things that are hot. So they would go here among all their other choices. They would get the fire and the sun, and then once they choose the answer, they can flip it, they can show it to you, and then that's their way of being able to have some form of control in the game and feel like it's more than just them handing you a card, but you're making it more interesting by providing something for them to manipulate by using the pocket chart. Okay, and of course, if they choose two things that were wrong, let's say they said for hot they did fire and scissors, then you're able to flip it around, talk about it, and then have them choose the correct one. Okay, so that's another way that you can use it for language therapy, working on adjectives or categories. And the last way that we can use it, we can go back to this side, is if you're working on sentence strips. And in this instance, we're using it to complete sentences using is and are, and using pronouns it, she, he, and they. And so I'm putting in front of them the cards that could possibly fit into the sentence. So here we're doing the pronouns and we're going to figure out which nouns fit the pronoun. So they have dog, a girl drinking, a boy fishing, and two people that are celebrating or partying. So you might start with the first one. It is blank. Which one of these represents it? You would hope that they would choose the dog, fill it in here. And if they're working on trying to make whole sentences, then you can use it as a way for them to pace their speech. It is barking. And of course, if they were to choose the wrong one, you would make the correction. But this one is multifunctional because it works on pronouns with it. It works on completing sentences using the correct word, and also pacing your speech if you're working on fluency. It is barking. So let's do the next one for she. Of course, you would want them to choose drinking, and you would do the same thing. She is drinking. So these are just 3 ways in which you can use a pocket chart in your therapy. And like I said, this is not a brand new idea. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I just feel like sometimes we would get so caught up in putting cards in front of kids and laying them out on the table and having them choose. But this creates a way for them to manipulate something in the activity, to draw them in and to make it more interesting. So you can do articulation and language and fluency therapy using the pocket chart. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.